Hi student, welcome to botany class. Today we are going to see the classification of living world. So we already know that the living world has some other criteria. If anyone we can say it's a living things mean it's not to have some criteria. The viruses is act as a bridge in between the living and the non-living world. Because when the presence of the virus inside the living organism is act as a living things. When it is present outside, it act as a non-living things. Okay, so that's why the viruses is act as a bridge between the. It is a connecting organism between the living and the non-living things. So now we are going to see that the classification of living organism. So how the living organism are classified? So generally the living organism are broadly grouped into two categories. That is a plant and the animal. How they are differentiated is a plant and the animal. So apart from the prokaryote and the eukaryotes, based on the organization of the nuclear material, primitive form, advanced form. That is a prokaryote, it's a primitive form. Eukaryote or advanced form. Like that, the various classification are proposed to classify the living organism. So what are the classification are proposed and what are the criteria they are used? So these are things now we are going to see. The classification of living world. The planet Earth is endowed with a living organism and non-living things. Let's say it is called world. It's a unique planet. It is a harbor of both the land form and a life form, which on the earth. So that's why earth is considered a biosphere. In the beginning of this chapter, we are discussing what is the biosphere. Okay. So the many attempts have been made in the past, that is a previous. Okay, the past classification, the organism, the earth. So very first, at the beginning of the classification, most of the scientists, they are using some superficial characters. Superficial means easily visible characters. And they will be considered one or two characters, not the entire character of the organism. They can consider one or two characters. Okay. So the many attempts have been made in the past classifying the organism on the earth. The Theophrastus, he considers a father of botany. Why? Because he is the first man to attempt classify the plant without medicinal value. Because the previous classification is based on the most of the scientists. They are using the medicinal property of the plant for the classifying the plant. But the Theophrastus, he is considered the student of Aristotle, and he is the first man to classify the plant based on the morphological characters. As such, they will be classified the plant to tree, shrub and herb. Herb is a small plant. It grows only a certain centimeter in height. Most of the herbs are annual, some of only perennial. And so, mostly it's a perennial. The main stem, it will grow only a certain centimeter in height. After that, it produces much branches and tree. We already know that. It's rather the main woody trunk. Okay. So, the Theophrastus, he can classify the plant based on the morphological character. And previous scientists, a lot of scientists, they classify the plant based on only the medicinal property. But Theophrastus is only classify the plant based on morphological character. That's why he considers a father of botany. And also he is considered a student of Aristotle. Okay. So next is Aristotle, the first classification. He classified the animal into two groups. That is Anima and Anima. Anima means with red blood. That means contain the RBC, erythrocytes. Red blood corpus cells is present. Okay, so those animals have the red blood, it come under the anima. those animals do not have red blood is come under anima. For example, cockroach is the best example for anima because the cockroach do not have red blood. It has the white blood. Instead of it has the white blood. That means the erythrocyte is absent in cockroach. Now cockroach is come under the anima. In anima, we are human also is come under the anima because we have the red blood corpuscle, erythrocytes. Okay, so Aristotle is the first man to classify the animal into two categories. So that's why Aristotle considers a father of zoology. And then next, extension of the Theophrastus. So after the Carl Linnaeus, he can classify the entire living organism into two categories. And previously, Theophrastus is only classified the plant. Aristotle, he only classified the animals. But Linnaeus, he can give the two kingdom of classification. That means entire living world is broadly grouped into two categories. That is Plantae and Animalia. Plantae means it is a photosynthetic. It is an autotroph. Those organisms that can prepare the own food material, they will be classified under the Plantae. In Animalia, those animals cannot able to prepare, those organisms cannot able to prepare the food material. They will be depends on other organisms for the food. They will be classified under the Animalia. And then in the Plantae, the Linnaeus is include the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. That is the main drawback of the Linnaeus classification. But it's a beginning, it's a first man to initiate, to classify the living world into two categories, that is a Plantae and the Animalia. So Carl Linnaeus, he classified the living world into two groups based on the morphological character, that is a Plantae and the Animalia. So classification is based on a major drawback, setback drawback. Or each system have the own drawback, especially for classification. Each and every system, it have the own drawback. That's why the classification is not a permanent, it will be changed time to time. If a new branches or if a new character is identified in, it will be change the entire classification. Okay. So here his classification is based on major setback. It become because the prokaryote and eukaryote are grouped together. That's what I already told you. In Plantae, it is autotroph. Animalia, it is a heterotroph. In Plantae, it includes both the prokaryotic photosynthetic organism and eukaryotic photosynthetic organism are grouped under Plantae. In Animalia, eukaryotic heterotroph and prokaryotic heterotroph all are included under the Animalia. So, it is a basic drawback of the Linnaeus classification. Similarly, the fungi. The fungi is a heterotroph, is never autotroph. But due to presence of cell wall, it will be classified under the kingdom of Plantae. That is another drawback. So, first drawback, both the prokaryote and eukaryote. We already know that what is a prokaryote. Pro means primitive, karyotic means nucleus. It do not have any well organized nucleus, that is nuclear membrane and membrane bound organelles are absent. Eukaryotes, U means true, karyotic means nucleus. It has a true nucleus and it contains all membrane bound organelles. Okay, so these two categories are included in the same group, even the Plantae and the Animalia. And then another drawback, the fungi, it will classify under the kingdom Plantae. What is the reason? The presence of cell wall. Even though it is a heterotroph, but the presence of cell wall, he can classify the fungi under the Plantae. So these are the drawback of the Linnaeus classification or two kingdom of classification. In course of time, that is classification, it will be changed time to time. Already I told you. Okay, so the development tool is composed in the taxonomies. It is very important and it is very necessary. That is taxonomic tools. There are different areas like cytology, the study of cell. Cytology for cell biology. And anatomy, the anatomical feature also taken for the classification. He considered, some of the scientists will be considered. Embryology, the development of the embryo. Molecular biology, molecular level. The DNA and the RNA. The sequencing of the DNA and the RNA. And phylogeny, that is genetic relationship among the two group of plants or different group of plants. Okay, so they will be considered for the classifying the organism on the earth. So these are the tools. Nowadays they will be used. Okay, that's the new dimension. So due to this branches, it will be create a new dimension to the classification. And the classification is never permanent. It will be changed for time to time. Why we need the classification? Because the millions of plants and the animals are present in the earth. So without the knowledge of the classification or taxonomy, we can't study even a single organism. So the classification is act as a tool to study a living organism based on some of the criteria. That's why we must be need a classification. First we want to grouping the organism. Okay, so previously the Theophrastus, he can classify the entire plant kingdom into three categories: herb, shrub, and trees. Okay, so depending on the nature of the stem and the growth height, everything. Okay, so it is very easy to study. Okay, so we must be need a classification. It is essential to achieve the following needs: the related things based on the common characteristic features. Previously the Linnaeus, he can classify the plants and the fungi in the same kingdom. He placed it. Why? Because the presence of cell wall. Okay, so the characteristic features, that is a common characteristic features. And then the defined organism based on the following features, whether it's a phototroph or autotroph, whether it's a prokaryote or eukaryotes, whether it will move from one place to another place or not. Okay, so like that. So based on some select features, and it's help to knowing the relationship among a different group of organisms. So if you know that all the plant they can prepare the food material except a few. We have the saprophytic angiosperm like Monotropha and Cuscuta. So these are the exception. Even the insectivorous plant, it can able to prepare the food material. But due to the nitrogen deficiency, it will be modified. For the nitrogen content, it will depend on the insect. Okay, so like that. So knowing relationship among a different group of organisms. It is help to understanding the evolution relationship between the organisms. That's why the classification is needed. So common characteristic features, salient features, relationship among a different group of plants, and understanding the evolutionary relationship. That's why we need the classification. Next, a different type of classification. 2 kingdom, 3 kingdom, 4 kingdom, and 5 kingdom. The 5 kingdom classification is widely accepted. Now it will be changed, but it will be widely accepted. The Linnaeus, he classified the entire plant kingdom into, entire living world into 2 categories. That is Plantae and Animalia. In 1735. Based on the morphological character. So we already studied the previous slide. What is the drawback of the Linnaeus classification? Now both the prokaryote and eukaryote is included in the same category, and the fungi is classified under the Plantae kingdom, Plantae. So these 2 are major drawback of the Linnaeus classification. And then 3 kingdom is a first one to separate Protista, a unicellular organism, from both the Plantae and Animalia. They give a special place, that is the kingdom Protista. who is Ernst Haeckel. He is first classified the entire living world into three kingdoms: Protista, Plantae and Animalia. So what is the difference between the Carl Linnaeus and the Haeckel? The Haeckel, he will bring the unicellular organism into a separate kingdom. They provide a separate kingdom, that is a Protista. And all the unicellular organisms are placed under the Protista. Even though the same drawback will be carried out. Haeckel also is never giving a separate place for the kingdom fungi and the plant fungi. It's all, he also includes the fungi in the plant category. And in the Protista, he includes both the prokaryote and the eukaryotic unicellular organism. And photosynthetic, non-photosynthetic also included under the Protista. So this is also drawback of the Ernst Haeckel classification. And then fourth kingdom, Copeland. He is the first man to separate the prokaryotic unicellular organism and they provide a special place, that is a kingdom Monera. Okay, so the Haeckel, he classified the unicellular, both eukaryotic and prokaryotic, and both the photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic are included under the Protista. But Copeland, he will be separate. Okay, he was separate the prokaryotic unicellular organism and create a separate kingdom, that is a Monera. So Monera is contained all unicellular prokaryotic organism. Even the Copeland, the same drawback will be carried. What is the drawback? The fungi is never separated from the plant kingdom. Okay, so even the Monera is contained all photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic unicellular organism are included, prokaryotic. Because some of the photosynthetic bacteria is there, no. So he also the same drawback. It will be carried in the Copeland kingdom. That is a fourth kingdom. Next, a fifth kingdom. It is widely accepted. Why? Because he is the first man to separate the fungi from the Plantae and give a separate kingdom. Okay. So Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae, Animalia. Or gets Whittaker classification in 1969. It is a widely accepted because he is the first man to separate the fungi because it's a non-photosynthetic. He separates the fungi from the Plantae and place and give a separate kingdom. Even though the Whittaker, he do not include the viruses in the classification of living world. And he also give the same place, that is a photosynthetic, non-photosynthetic unicellular organism are placed. Prokaryotic organism are placed in the Monera. Okay, so all the protozoans are included in the Protista. Okay, so the Monera and Protista, they have the heterogeneous group. They have a two different characteristic organisms will be present. So we can elaborately see the five kingdom classification. This was first proposed by August Whittaker in 1969. He is American taxonomist. The kingdom are Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae, Animalia. He classified the entire living world based on the following criteria. The first one is cell structure, whether it's a prokaryote or eukaryotes. And then thallus organization, whether it's a unicellular or multicellular, thallus organization. Mode of nutrition, whether it's an autotroph or heterotroph. Reproduction, whether asexual or sexual. Phylogenetic relationship, that is genetic relationship, similarities and dissimilarities among the different group of organisms. Okay, so these are the criteria is adopted by the August Whittaker in five kingdom of classification. So there is a five kingdom classification, the living world, there is a prokaryote. That is a what? First one, the cell structure. Okay, so cell structure is a prokaryote or eukaryote. Prokaryote means primitive nucleus, they do not have nuclear membrane and the membrane border organelles are absent. the kingdom 1, that is a Monera. Monera is a all prokaryotic organism and unicellular organism are classified. Some are multicellular, not a very complicated, it's a simple multicellular. And eukaryote means maybe unicellular or multicellular. That is a thallus organization, unicellular and multicellular. The eukaryotic unicellular come under the Protista. All the protozoans are classified. And then multicellular, it's maybe presence of cell wall and the absence of cell wall. Presence of cell wall means that is it can able to synthesize the food material or not able to synthesize the food material. So because the fungi also have the cell wall, plant also have the cell wall. Okay, so fungi cannot able to prepare the one food material. Plant can able to prepare the one food material. That a plant it is a autotroph, fungi is a heterotroph. Okay, so in the presence of cell wall, it will be classified into two categories based on the manufacture of food material or mode of nutrition. Based on the mode of nutrition. So it is a depends on the other organism, kingdom fungi. It is a self mode of nutrition, kingdom plantae. And without cell wall, multicellular, eukaryotes, and the mode of nutrition is heterotroph, come under the Animalia. Okay, so that is a 5 kingdom of classification. First the cell structure, and organization of the thallus, and mode of nutrition, and the genetic relationship, phylogeny. Okay, so everything will be given. That is a Monera, Protista, Plantae, Fungi, Animalia. So next we will study the kingdom Monera. So what is it? It is a unicellular. Very rarely, simple multicellular will be present. The cell nature is a prokaryotes. Prokaryote means, pro means primitive, karyote means nucleus. Primitive nucleus. It does not contain any membrane bounded organelles and also nuclear membrane is absent. So that's why it is called incipient nucleus. Because the nuclear material or genetic material is properly present in the cytoplasm. Incipient nucleus. And the cell wall present because all the bacteria contain the cell wall. And locomotion, it will be done by flagella or cilia. And then mostly it is a heterotroph, some are autotroph. So some are photosynthetic bacteria will be there. They can prepare the own food material. Okay, so that is autotroph. Example, bacteria and the cyanobacteria. It will be included under the kingdom Monera. Reproduced by asexual and sexual. So here sexual means the conjugation or the fusion of the two cell. Not a gamete, two cell. Okay. So there are two sub-kingdom will be there under the kingdom Monera. That is Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So Archaebacteria is the ancestor of the bacteria. Because it will be present mostly in the extreme condition. Life is not possible. In that place, this kind of the bacteria will be survive. The very high temperature and very low temperature and high pH like that. So life is never exist in the particular place. In that place, these bacteria is adapt to survive. That is a Archaebacteria. Eubacteria is true bacteria. So kingdom Monera, it will be further divided into two sub-kingdom, that is Archaebacteria and the Eubacteria. Kingdom Protista. It is a unicellular, eukaryotic, because the prokaryote is classified under the kingdom Monera. Eukaryotic. The cell wall may or may not present, because some of the algae is also included in the kingdom Protista, unicellular algae. And then autotroph, it may be to the autotroph or heterotroph mode of nutrition. Locomotion by the pseudopodia, cilia or flagella. Reproduction, asexual or sexual reproduction may be present. Asexual means away from fusion of gamete, sexual means the fusion of gamete. Subkingdom, under the kingdom Protista, Cryptophytes, that is a golden algae. Dinoflagellate, euglenoid and the protozoans. It's all come under the kingdom Protista. Okay. And then kingdom fungi. Uni or multicellular eukaryotes. Okay, so it is also one of the drawback of the five kingdom classification. Actually, all the unicellular organism, whether it is a eukaryote, mean it must be classified under what? The protista. But the yeast, even though it will be included under the kingdom fungi, is never separated. Because yeast is a unicellular fungi, eukaryotes. So if it is a eukaryote and unicellular, mean it must be classified under protista. But they will be classified. They will be classified the yeast under the kingdom fungi. They will be included under the kingdom fungi. Okay, this is also one of the drawback. Okay, and then mode of nutrition, it is heterotroph. That's why the Whittaker is the first man to give a separate place for the fungi. Okay, so mostly it's an observative method. That means secrete the enzyme to digest the outer side food material and they will be intake. Okay. So they live on the organic matter and secrete the digestive enzyme and observe a small organic molecule formed by the digestion. Okay, how it will be formed? That is the enzyme, exoenzyme will be formed. In fermentation industry, the yeast is act as a very important role to ferment the particular raw material by it secreting the exoenzyme, that is Siamase. In alcohol industry, the alcohol production, how it is happen? The Siamase enzyme will come out from the yeast cell and it will be digest the outside content and incomplete oxidation will be formed. As a result, it produces alcohol. Okay, so that is the exoenzyme will be formed. Locomotion is mostly absent because it's like a plant, it do not have any locomotory organ. And the reproduction is maybe sexual or asexual. Next, the kingdom Plantae. That is a fourth kingdom. It includes all the eukaryotes, multicellular and autotrophic organisms. Even though the unicellular form, like Chlamydomonas, it will be classified under the kingdom Plantae. Like yeast. Yeast also, it is a unicellular eukaryote, heterotroph. It will be classified under the kingdom Fungi. It is not included in the Protista. Like the Chlamydomonas, it is not included under the Protista. It will be included under the kingdom Plantae. Not only for Chlamydomonas, Chlorella, it is a unicellular form. Like the some of the unicellular form, it will be classified under the kingdom Plantae. It is also one of the drawback of the five kingdom system of classification. The plant body, it will have a tissues and the organs. And the cell wall is present. It is mostly autotroph. Exception will be there. I already told you. That is a monotroph form, saprophytic angiosperm. Cuscuta. It is a partial parasite. It will be depends on the some other needs for the other organism. Okay. And locomotion is totally absent. Some lower group form or unicellular form have a flagella. And reproduction may be asexual or sexual. They have a multicellular sex organ and form the embryo during the life cycle. But the embryo development is totally absent in algae. It will be started from bryophytes, teratophyte and gymnosperm and angiosperm. Well developed embryo development. So that's why the bryophyta, teratophyta, gymnosperm, angiosperm, it will come under the embryophyta because the embryo development will be present. Example, mosses, fern and the flowering plants. Next, the kingdom Animalia. Okay, so it includes the eukaryotic multicellular animals. The organization of plant or animal body, that is a tissues, organ and organ system is present. In our body, a different organ system will be present. Circulatory system, endocrine system, reproductive system, respiratory system, skeletal system, muscular system, like that. Each system is made up of what? The tissue system. Okay, so tissues, organ and organ system is present. Cell wall totally absent. Heterotrophic, especially for holozoic, that is indigestion. Okay. The animal is mostly ingesting the food and digesting within the specialized cavity, that is a stomach, digesting the food. And locomotion by limbs, forelimbs and hind limbs. In both, it will be modified. The forelimbs are modified to feather, like that. Okay. Reproduction is maybe asexual or sexual. The animal kingdom is included vertebrata and invertebrata. Invertebrata means without backbone, vertebrata means with the backbone. Okay. Next, merits and demerits of five kingdom classification. The classification is based on the complexity of the cell structure, whether it's a prokaryote or eukaryote, whether it's unicellular or multicellular. Okay, so an organization, that's why it's one of the importance. It's one of the merits of the five kingdom of classification. And separation of fungi from the plantae. That is another advantage. Because up to the fourth kingdom, no one is separate of fungi from the plantae. Even they do the heterotroph mode of nutrition. And based on the mode of nutrition, whether it is a self mode or depends on the other organism. That's why the fungi will be separated from the kingdom plantae based on the mode of nutrition. And so the phylogeny of the organism from the prokaryotes to eukaryotes, from unicellular to multicellular, from autotroph to heterotroph, like that. So that is a phylogeny of the organism. And what are the demerits? So this kingdom, especially for Monera and the Protista, it will be include both the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes, and both the self mode and the other organism mode of nutrition. That is, it depends on the other organism for the food material. Whether it may be autotroph or heterotroph, it's all included under the Monera and the Protista. These two kingdom, it will be contained. It was contained the both the nature of the organism, autotroph and heterotroph, and presence and absence of cell wall. In both the group contain the presence of cell wall and absence of cell wall. Okay, so that's why this group is more heterogeneous. Which one? The Monera and the Protista. This is a main drawback of the five kingdom classification. Now we are going to the three domain of life. That is coral, mouse and co-workers. It can divide the entire living world into three domains: Archaebacteria, bacteria and eukaryota. As I told you, Archaebacteria, that is a primitive form. Okay, so the Archaebacteria mostly present the extreme condition, especially for Halophilus and Thermophilus. Halophilus means high saline condition, Thermophilus means very high temperature. Okay, so other bacteria, cyanobacteria and heterotroph bacteria is all included. And eukaryota, it will include the basal protista, flagellates, fungi, animalia, plantae, chromista, alveolata and rhodophyta. Okay, so the entire living world, it will be classified into three domains, that is archaea, bacteria and eukaryota. It will be given by Karl Woese and co-workers in 1990. It was introduced based on the what? The difference in the rRNA nucleotide sequence. Because the rRNA, it will be formed, that is ribosomal RNA. It will form from the nucleolus and it is present inside the ribosome rRNA. Okay, so rRNA nucleotide sequence and the lipid structure of the cell membrane. So what is the three domain? Bacteria, archaea and eukarya or eukaryota. It was the three domain of life given by Karl Woese and co-workers based on the rRNA nucleotide sequence, lipid structure on the cell membrane. Next, sixth kingdom of classification. Thomas Caldwell-Smith in 1998. He can divide the kingdom Monera into two categories, that is Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. Okay, so already what? Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, animal is there. Okay, so the Thomas Caldwell-Smith, he can split the kingdom Monera into two kingdoms, that is Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So already five kingdoms. They will be newly divide the Monera into two kingdoms, that is Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So here given Archaebacteria kingdom 1, Eubacteria kingdom 2, Protista kingdom 3, fungi kingdom 4, plantae kingdom 5 and animalia kingdom 6. Who was proposed the fifth kingdom? Caldwell-Smith. Next is seventh kingdom. It was published by Rogier et al. In 2015. It is a recent system. So he can divide the two super kingdom, the entire living world, to divide two super kingdom, that is prokaryote and eukaryotes. The prokaryotes include the archaea and the bacteria, and eukaryotes include the cremista, fungi, animalia, plantae, and protista. Okay, so protista, cremista, plantae, fungi, animalia. So it will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So totally 7 kingdom. Two super kingdom, eukaryotes and the prokaryotes. Okay, that is a two super kingdom. The prokaryotes include the two kingdom, that is bacteria and archaea, and eukaryotes include the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So it is published by Rogier et al. 2015. According to this classification, two super kingdom. What are the prokaryota and eukaryota? Prokaryota and eukaryota. The prokaryota include the two kingdoms, namely archaebacteria and eubacteria. And eukaryotes include protozoa, cremista, fungi, plantae, animalia. So here, prokaryote, that is a bacteria and archaea. So it's a eukaryote, protista, plantae, fungi, animalia. Okay. So the new kingdom, that is a cremista, was erected and is include all the algae. Suppose the chloroplast contain chlorophyll A and C. All the algae with have the chloroplast with the chlorophyll A and C, as well as the various colorless form are included under the cremista. Okay, so the cremista contain diatoms, brown algae, cryptomonads, oomycetes. Once again repeat, the cremista include diatoms, brown algae, cryptomonads, and oomycetes were placed under the kingdom cremista. Thank you.